Hello, book people. PT Hylton here with my weekly wrap up and my Friday reads. Now, technically, if we want to be technical about it, it's not actually Friday where I am, but the cool thing is, in many parts of the world it is Friday. So where you are, what's that, Bob? This is embarrassing, guys. My producer Bob just informed me it is actually not Friday anywhere in the world. I guess this is my Saturday reads. Let's talk about the weekly wrap-up first. The first book I read this week was The Martian by Andy Weir. This book was awesome. So if you haven't read this, it's the story of a guy who gets trapped on the planet Mars. He's an astronaut. He's on a Mars mission. The rest of his crew is about to take off, and they have reason to believe he's dead, and they strand him there accidentally, thinking he's dead. It's basically just the story of him trying to survive. If you like the show, like, for instance, Breaking Bad, and you know how in Breaking Bad, if you've seen it, there's a lot of times where they will just, they'll be in some crazy situation and they have to solve it using only science. They've only got like 4 little things in science, and then they come up with some crazy solution to it with science. That's basically what this whole book is, and it's awesome. It's like him just solving these crazy situations, figuring out how he's going to survive on Mars, all with science. And what I really loved about the book was like how single-minded and focused it was. It was just all about him trying to survive on Mars, trying to figure out a way to get off of Mars. There's some involvement with people back on Earth, but again, still the focus is just only on his survival. If it doesn't have anything to do with him surviving, it's not in there. And I love that single-minded focus. There's no like side stories really. There's no like, this person is trying to, he was trapped there because some nefarious person has some plan or something. There's nothing like that. It was all just him trying to survive, and it was awesome. I love this book a lot. I started 2 other books. One is The Bad Box by Harvey Click. Harvey Click is a horror writer. He's an indie writer that I like a lot. I read his book Demon Frenzy, and it was a lot of fun, but I kept hearing about how this book and how it was his best, how it was very, very scary. Even a lot of people who say that they don't get scared by books very often have left reviews saying, wow, this is the first book that scared me in 10 years or whatever. So I'm partway through that, and I'll admit it's pretty scary book. The writing is great. Harvey's such a good writer. I got about 30% of the way through that thus far. The other book was Shadow of the Wind, which I've only got maybe about 10% into that. Looking forward to finishing that up this week. The other thing that happened to me this week is I had two books come out, and I don't talk much about my writing on this channel because that's not what this channel is about, but it is a big part of my life, and you guys are part of my life, so I just thought I'd take 30 seconds to briefly mention that I had a novella come out called Thorns and Tangles. It's my first novella I've published, and it's the story of Zane Holloway, who's an assassin, and he gets hired to kill this man who's kind of this reclusive genius who brought about this golden age of magic. He's like a very innovative magician in this world, and Zane and his kind of really tough but socially awkward apprentice have to find a way to kill this guy. It's a fun read. It's only 92 pages. The other thing that came out this week by me is the audiobook of my novel Regulation 19 came out, and it was so much fun. I'm going to do another video probably on my other channel, my writing channel, that is about what it was like to work with an actor. I got to work with a great actor, very experienced guy on this book, and how much fun it was. It was really cool collaborating on this audiobook, and I'm really proud of it. So that's my week in review. Now let's go on to what I'm going to be reading over the weekend and into next week. As we're kind of wrapping up in the year, my main focus right now is on finishing books that I've started. Before I get into finishing those, though, I'm doing a buddy read this weekend and into next week with a bunch of great booktubers. We're reading The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and I'm loving it so far. I'm about, I guess, 150 pages in maybe, and it's really cool. It's kind of a classic fantasy series that somehow has passed me by until now, and I'm loving reading it so far. So I'll be back with a full report on that next week. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to finish up The Bad Box. I'm going to finish up Shadow of the Wind. And the other book I want to finish up is a book I've been reading for a long time, and that is Smarter Than You Think by Clive Thompson. This is a book it's a nonfiction book about kind of how technology is changing our minds and like the science of that. The kind of stance he takes is that it is improving us. And it's a really fascinating book. I've been reading it for a long time, and I'm not sure why I haven't finished it. I guess Every time I read it, I'm like really fascinated by it and love it, but it's not one of those books that makes me just want to like go back to it as soon as possible. I'm really kind of been savoring it, I guess. So that's what I'm going to be reading this week. I hope you had a great reading week. I hope you have a great reading weekend coming up. And if you have any time off for the holidays or anything like that, I hope you get to spend a little time of that reading. That's going to do it for me. I will talk to you next time. Bye.